opportunity.
5.1, 10.3.
Those things that we used to hold self-evident, those are not argued in the public square. Maybe states' rights, definitely the Second Amendment. We're starting now to argue the First Amendment. We must learn what these rights mean, why they were put in place, and we must gather around them. If you don't want to silence others, you're my friend. If you will let others speak and you don't condone violence on the streets, if you understand the basic concept that sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. If you believe in a rule of law, and that there is no such thing, I'm sorry, as social justice, because that means that man has to try to sort things up, and man is always wrong. We can strive for true justice. How could we possibly take on the hardest kind of justice, social justice, the kind that comes from God? How can we possibly take that on when we haven't gotten justice right yet? We have to come together. We have to stop this. Because the rest of the world is falling apart, and they are worse than we are. If we don't do it, and we fail, where will the slaves of today and the slaves, a vast quantity of new slaves of tomorrow, where will they run? Who will stand up for them?
It's Friday, August 17th. This is the Glenn Beck program.
You know, it's our 3-year anniversary on August 28th of the Nazarene Fund. 3 years we've been doing that. This year we're going to move to safety. Our goal is 16,000 people. We have rescued over 100 slaves on missions. We are ramping this up. I think we're at 110 slaves. I mean, I think we've lost 2 people in a mission. I know we've lost 1 active in the mission, another one later, but I think 2 in the field of operations. You don't hear about those people. And those aren't Americans, by the way, because Americans would be shot on the site. These are people from that country, from Syria or from Iraq, who are on our side and are trying to help us free Christians and Yazidis, anybody who is kept a slave by ISIS. We're trying to save them, and we're doing it. And anytime somebody starts talking to you about, what, the slaves in America and the slaves, just ask them this one question, and ask it peacefully with love in your heart. Oh, thank goodness. Thank goodness you care about this. Are you an abolitionist? What are you talking about? Sorry, by the way you were talking, I thought you were an abolitionist. I'm an abolitionist. I'm currently working to stop slave trade all over the world. You know that there's more slaves in slavery today than the entire 400-year Western slave trade combined? That's happening today. I agree with you. Slavery is awful. Can we talk about, I want to do something that makes a difference. Don't you want to make a difference? Well, yeah, that's why I'm saying that we should be socialist. Okay, I'm saying you and I can do something about it right now. You can argue about the socialist thing, later in politics. Let's just, you and I, can we unite on this? Let's both be abolitionists. It's an easy one. It's so easy. Anybody who says, no, but I'm not going to become an abolitionist, there's no reason to talk to those people or listen to them. Unless they are abolitionists today. Don't listen to them about the Founding Fathers. They knew this is so correct. You know. Well, I didn't know. Why not? It's everywhere. You just Google search.
Yeah, I will say, if you're one of the people like me, who when you heard the stat, there's more slaves today than there have been in the 400-year slave trade combined, and you didn't believe it. Because, I mean, that's how, when I first heard that stat, I was like, come on, what are they doing? That can't be true.
Yep.
It actually does check out. That is an incredible thing. I mean, you just don't think that it could possibly be true.
And the people who were selling the white people, the slaves, many, if not most times, were Muslims, because they felt justified coming in, taking slaves out of the jungles who were what? They were infidels. The Quran told them you can enslave the infidel, so they didn't think they were doing anything wrong. Christianity gets a bad name, and it should for that. Some Christians should. Some Christians, it was a Christian movement. Onward, Christian soldiers. Battle Hymn of the Republic. It was a Christian movement. Not entirely, but mainly a Christian movement. There were people on the other side just like there are today. But it was mainly Muslims selling people from Africa to the white slave traders. So please, let's not talk about religion even in this, because everybody's hands are dirty here. Everybody's hands are dirty. In every country, slaves, still happening. Let's talk about that. Can we stop it now? We have to come together and find ways to do it. And I am not saying compromise your values, not saying compromise your principles. I will not bend on the Constitution. I will not bend on the Bill of Rights. And it puts me in uncomfortable places. I have to stand up for people that I don't necessarily like. But that's when it counts. That's the only time it counts.
And there's an actual thing that can be done.
Yeah.
We can all sit here and talk about what should have happened with the founders in slavery. And as a person who absolutely, loves Ben Franklin, we're very much on record on that. But it doesn't do anything, right? Like, we can all say it's a nice point and a good argument, but it's a long time ago. Here we go with something that we can all agree with. We all agree that we don't want people to be slaves now. You can actually do something about it, and at the end, someone who is currently enslaved is no longer enslaved.
May I flip this around, please? Let's say you want universal single-payer health care.
Okay.
Let's say you want that.
I don't, but okay.
Okay, all right. Progressives do.
Yeah.
Progressives do. Progressives do. Partner, remember that word as we go along here. You know what? That damn Theodore Roosevelt and Woodrow Wilson, those bastards, why didn't they just do it? Why didn't they just do it? Well, they couldn't because, the country would have revolted and would have broken. So what? That's more important. It's a human right to have health care. Those bastards, how come Bill Clinton just didn't do it? How come Barack Obama just didn't do it? Well, because, again, the country would have broken apart. We probably would have gone into civil war, and we wouldn't have had anything left. Those bastards, it's more important. It's a civil right. Everything progressives have done that they are claiming is a human right, they've been talking about doing for over 100 years. 100 years. In the case of Theodore Roosevelt, 100 and almost 20 years. In the case of the progressive movement, 140 years. They didn't do it. Why not? Because it would have broken the country apart. Why is it when the founders said, okay, we're not going to be able to stop slavery entirely, let's take the first step. We'll compromise, keep the country together, we'll stop the slave trade in, 1809. That was the deal that brought the Constitution together, so we had the framework to move forward. Our founders, in your book, if it was about universal health care, were progressives. They were just open about it. They said, we're trying to stop slavery. You're still, except for a few now, up until 2 years ago, you were still denying that you were for single-payer universal health care. It's been the goal the whole time. So,
that's
your goal. Well, no, that's
a step on the way to the goal, but they want that step for sure.
Totalitarian state. Absolute state control is the goal.
Yeah, I mean, single payer is different than what? I mean, they even said that we read an article from Vox, from a democratic socialist, who said, hey, everyone's talking about democratic socialism now, let me tell you what it is. I'm a real democratic socialist. She works at Jacobin magazine. And she said, look, the long term is we want to end capitalism.
Mhm.
Again, this is not me making this up. This is her saying what she believed and what they believe. And also, when it came to healthcare, they said, we don't want, single payer is not what we want. It's just a step that we think is in the right direction. What we want is something that looks more like Great Britain and in the NHS, where you'd have not, that's different than single payer. Single payer keeps private insurance and private doctors.
Yeah.
This is every doctor works for the state.
Correct.
This is you don't need the insurance.
Right.
Every medical cost is paid through the state until they start rationing and nothing gets paid for anymore.
And they actually, in that same article, she said, we're not for socialism. We are against capitalism. The destruction of the capitalist society, capitalist state, is on our final goal list. Well, that's not Sweden. In fact, Sweden is more free on business. Listen to this. Look it up. Sweden, when it comes to business, is more free and a more capitalist state than the United States of America is today. Wow. So they're not talking about what they have in Sweden. But can we come together on slavery? What do you say? Join us. NazareneFund.org. Also, OURRescue.org. Rescuing our children all around the world. And the Nazarene Fund looking to take religious minorities and get them to safety. And it's been remarkable. That's NazareneFund.org. Sponsor this half hour, Car Shield. If you've ever taken your car in for a checkup at the mechanic and then they come back with a huge bill and you're like, oh my gosh, can you take all those new parts off and just give me my car and it won't work at all? Okay, well that might be better because I don't have the money. I didn't plan on it. Has that ever happened to you? 'Cause it used to happen to me a lot. Car Shield. Take away all those surprises. If you have Car Shield, if your car breaks down after the warranty expires, you know what's going to happen. You're going to be dreading every time you go in. Replacing your engine. Excuse me, I'm sorry. Replacing your engine could cost thousands of dollars. Even a simple repair to a sensor can cost over $1,000. Nothing simple about today's cars. Car Shield makes the process of fixing. Can you tell I finally finished the audio recording of the book last night? I'm sorry for my voice. You can have your favorite mechanic, your dealership do the work. It's your choice. Doesn't matter. They're going to get them paid, and they don't pay you. They pay directly to the mechanic, so you don't have to wait for a check. It's carshield.com. Go sign up for it now. Carshield.com or 1-800-CAR-6100. That's 1-800-CAR-6100. Carshield.com. Promo code BECK.
Glenn Beck, Mercury.
Strikeforce Energy, veteran-owned, American-made, and one of the hottest new energy products on the market. Strikeforce Energy was developed by veterans for one simple reason. The fight will always follow you, and it waits for no one. My name is Bruce Schley, founder of Strikeforce Energy, and this summer, I invite you to join me in giving back to America's troops. Over the last 3 years, Strikeforce Energy has shipped millions of packets to our troops, both at home and abroad. And now, we're bringing this battlefield-proven liquid directly to your door. Simply add Strikeforce to 16 to 20 ounces of water, tea, lemonade, yogurt, even ice-cold beer, for the fuel to power you through your toughest fights. Strikeforce Energy liquid packs, available in 4 flavors, have 0 sugar, 0 calories, and are made with only the finest ingredients. Go to StrikeForceEnergy.com, enter discount code PATRIOT at checkout, and for every box you buy, we'll donate a box to military members around the globe. Strikeforce Energy, fuel for the fight.
The Beach Boys, reason for the season 2018 Christmas tour. December 17th, live in Seaback. The Beach Boys. Great seats on sale now at dpacknc.com or at Ticketmaster. VIP packages available at myclub.com or thebeachboys.com. The Beach Boys, reason for the season Christmas tour.
Doctor, award-winning chief medical correspondent, and salon top user, Dr. Bob Pano. For pain relief, the best solution at the price. I found that salon cars Lidocaine Plus works best for my feet. It's powerful, available without a prescription, and uses 2 anesthetics to numb nerves right where it hurts. It starts to work on contact, providing effective, lasting pain relief I can count on. Salon Pods in the silver box with the blue wave.
Wesley had IRS troubles.
They told me I owed them $43,000.
It got really bad.
Coming after my house, my car. I seriously thought that I was going to lose everything.
Wesley called Optima Tax Relief.
Oh, they were great people. Optima Tax. They know what they're doing.
Optima Tax Relief came through with flying colors.
I saved an incredible amount of money. Call Optima Tax Relief. Don't trust anybody else.
Call Optima for a free consultation. Call 800-567-2261. 800-567-2261.
Optima Tax Relief.
When the need for senior care arises, there's no place like home. Your loved ones should never have to give up living at home. Visiting Angels will provide home care for your mom or dad at home up to 24 hours per day, including personal care, meals, and light housework. You'll select your professional caregiver with Visiting Angels. Look up visitingangels.com or call 877-374-LIVE. That's 877-374-LIVE. Franchises are available. Visiting Angels, America's choice in senior home care.
This is 106.1 FM Talk.